right. 6:30 call meeting order. We met with staff in closed session and we gave direction. All members are present. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time that we can spend together. Help us to make wise and good decisions for our town. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Proclamations, recognitions, appointments, and presentations. Doesn't look like there's any. Public comments and business from the floor. Does anybody like to speak on an item that is not agendized? If so, now is your time. Not seeing any, we're going to move on. Move on to the consent agenda. I'm not going to read them all again. I'll skip to the bottom. We have a couple payments authorizing for our safe school pathways and an addendum for a rate increase. Those are added above and beyond our normal. If there's nothing that needs to be discussed, if there is, now it's time to pull it. If not, do I have a motion?
I move we accept consent agenda items 1 through 12.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So passed unanimous. All right, nothing removed from the consent agenda. Public hearings and meetings are none. Move on to the regular agenda. Review mayor's recommendations, appoint vice mayor and city representatives to various commissions and committees. Are you taking that?
I'll go ahead and take that. Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. I don't believe there were any changes proposed, and so all of the various appointments will remain as they were last year, is the mayor's recommendation. And so we're asking for those to be reaffirmed for one more year.
Do I have a motion or any discussion?
I don't have anything to say about it. If nobody has anything to say, I move mayor and council discuss. Wait, I probably want to go. Do I want to read that one? Mayor and council discuss and select vice mayor and or which one do I want to read? Review, discuss, and approve the mayor's recommended appointments, vice mayor and representatives to the below listed committees, commissions, and boards.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Which one?
So passed unanimous. Dave, you did a wonderful job.
Yeah, I was confused as usual.
It happens. All right, moving right along. Item number 14, adopt resolution 1214, 2021-01, accepting the 2021-22 California Citizen Options for Public Safety, known as COPS, grant in the amount of $100,000. That'd be Jeremiah.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. It's not the first time you've seen this. We've been doing this for multiple years now. I'm here to seek your acceptance of the $100,000, which will continue to fund a police officer for the city.
That's it? That's all you got to say?
That's it. And as every year, I had to ask Christina, we're not funding another one. That's, and you know, it's the grant that we get every single year. It's just a formality of adopting a resolution every year for it, so. Yeah.
Does this completely cover one officer or just partially? When you include benefits?
It doesn't completely cover an officer. It's considerably more to keep officers.
But it helps.
It is a considerable help. That's-
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
If you want the exact percentage, it is correct. It is a considerable help.
Is there any more discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I make a motion that the mayor and council adopt resolution 12-14-2021-01, thereby accepting the funds offered through the Citizens Option for Public Safety COPS Frontline Law Enforcement Allocation Grant and approve the use of these monies to fund a police officer position.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So passed unanimous. All right. And lost my spot here. Number 15, adopt resolution 1214-2021, 02, accepting a portion of California Citizens Options for Public Safety grant coverage. Jeremiah.
Well, with that, there are some unencumbered overages money in this COPS grant. What I'd like to have you guys accept monies of $3,326.18 to help upgrade both of our air interrogation rooms.
Anybody got any questions or comments?
No, I'm sure that it's been a while since they've been upgraded, and probably upgrades
Specifically,
that
it's
are,
going to audio and video.
yeah, it's needed.
It's very, very important to have quality audio and video these days, anytime you're interrogating anybody, and the fact that it's, free money, it's always good. Anybody have any more questions, comments? Julie? Have a motion.
I move mayor and council adopt resolution 12-14-2021-02, thereby accepting the funds offered through the Citizens Option for Public Safety, COPS, Frontline Law Enforcement Allocation Grant, overage monies in the amount of approximately $3,326.18 to be spent towards the purchase of new interrogation room equipment.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's so pass
I do
unanimous.
have a question. Is that going to pay for the whole new audio and stuff, or are we going to have to have more stuff?
Specifically for the police department, 'cause I know you guys have heard about parks.
Yes.
No, this is just for the police department.
Okay,
But yes, it'll fund both.
Okay.
departments.
okay. Perfect.
You'll see the parks in the next couple of weeks.
No, actually, I was asking, was it going to take care of both of the rooms?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. The parks are now separate.
We won't see it in the next couple of weeks.
For the holiday.
Time flies. Time flies when you're having fun.
All right. Item number J16, adopt resolution 12-14-2021-3, and authorize the city clerk to record tax liens on 118 properties for delinquent water and/or sewer service accounts, in the combined total amount of $138,665.47.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. To give you a little bit of background and for the benefit of the public, we are not allowed to shut off water and sewer right now because of the pandemic.
This has something different, a different amount. Everybody's kind of confused.
The numbers don't match.
The numbers from the agenda don't
Yeah,
match.
it says 148, 921, 73.
Okay, the number should be the 138, 665, 47.
That's what I read.
Yeah, that's what Robert read, yeah.
Okay, I apologize. So the city is not allowed to shut off water and sewer right now. Well, we can never shut off sewer because we don't have a shut-off valve on sewer, right?
We wouldn't want one.
The whole, that would get,
But we cannot shut off water right now because of the pandemic. Quite a bit of bad debt is accruing, and as parcels sell, the city, because we do not have liens placed on these parcels, the city has no option to recoup any of those lost revenues that would have come to the city. So this is meant to be a stopgap for those accounts that are owned by property owners so that the city can recoup that lost revenue when the parcel sells. If the property owner pays the amount due, that lien will be removed as well, but it allows the city to recoup some of the risk that we're assuming right now by having so much bad debt. To give you kind of a picture of where we usually stand prior to the pandemic, we would typically have about $25,000 in bad debt 90-plus days. Right now, we're at $138,000 for 90-plus day bad debt. So it's a significant increase in the amount of bad debt. And so I'm asking today that you authorize a lien to be placed. Assuming that there are grant opportunities available, and those grant opportunities or other funding mechanisms pay off that debt, then the lien would also be removed. And we do have a couple of grant opportunities in the works right now, they're just not there yet. This is really just a stopgap measure for the city to not lose significant amounts of revenue as property sells.
Any,
Yeah. I'm all in favor of this, but I think that we need to provide a little bit of leeway. There's, I think I counted 11 accounts on here that owe less than $200. There's 3 that owe less than $100. So that to me tells me they're not probably 90 days in arrears. I can't see putting a lien on, I mean, one of them is $68. I can't see putting a lien on somebody's property for a $68. That's basically 1 month water bill or whatever. I know it's a whole lot cheaper than my 1 month water bill, but I would like to set a monetary limit, you know, say whatever dollars are above. Liens can't, I mean, do we place liens for free and are they removed for free?
We place them all at one time.
But then when we remove them, if somebody comes in and pays their bill, we have to remove it,
I
correct?
don't believe we pay a fee.
Okay, but I don't know, my personal thought is it's just bad, I think it's bad publicity to put a lien on somebody's property when they owe $200 or $68 or whatever on their water bill, you know. I don't,
It's more difficult for staff to manage if you have such a policy, but that's the direction of council.
but how's it gonna work in moving forward? Is it gonna be anybody that gets a month behind is gonna be
No,
have a
we have
lien?
to come, well, I guess, yeah, so we don't have to take it to council. So it's been past practice to take liens to council, but that's not an actual requirement by the Corning Municipal Code. So as we went through this process to bring this to you tonight, that's when we realized that that was indeed the case. So should the council continue to want us to bring it to them, we can. Usually, this is done about once a year, and it's a once-a-year process. We don't record liens every month, nor would I be interested in doing so, because of the time it takes
To do it.
to do it. But a lot of the time that it takes, to be honest, is preparing staff items and
Yeah, I'm just voicing my opinion. I just think put a lien on somebody's property over a $68 water bill, give them an opportunity to come in and pay it. Obviously, if it's $68 or $150 or whatever, they've been paying it all along. Maybe they just forgot, whatever, I don't know.
But as soon as it's paid, the lien's taken off, right?
Yeah, but what do you, I mean, it's the thought that the city's putting a lien on your property for it. That's just my thoughts on it. I don't know what anybody else thinks.
If they're paying, excuse me, Dave, if they're paying on their account and they still have $100 owing, we're not talking putting a lien on those, are we?
yes.
Well, yeah, everybody,
if they're paying like $10 and they, so I will say we have the most lenient payment policy that I know of. We don't charge any late fees. Even before the pandemic, we had a very elaborate process before we ever shut off anybody's water. So we are very lenient in that regard. If that's the council's preference, I guess it's a question to call in, do we have to bring it back? Or can you just?
Well, I think if that's the direction that council wants to go, the ordinance should be amended to reflect that. Because we don't want to get too much into discretion.
Right.
If there is something where you believe that if it's under $200 or something, then you need to amend the ordinance to make it, that that's
Yeah.
the rule going forward. As it stands right now, if they don't pay, they get a late fee, then they are past due payment, then we leave it. That's just the way it is as far as the code. But if that's something the council's interested in amending in the code, we can certainly bring that back at one point.
We will, just from my experience, it will create a problem where we have a significant amount of people that just keep it at $200 amount. That they
How would they know though?
because they get their balance every year.
No, but I mean, how would they know that that's our ceiling of where we're gonna place the lien?
Yes, public record.
Well, it's public, the word, you
Talk
don't
about
really.
it.
I know, but who's gonna, who looks at that? No, I mean, in answer to your question, Shelley, if their bill's
If
below
there's
$200.
activity on their account.
Yeah, I mean, if their bill's below $200, they've been paying right along since the pandemic started. They just maybe are a month behind or 2 months behind or whatever. I don't know. I'm just voicing my opinion.
I'm torn because I've got, I've worked with billing and having to deal with agings and all of that, and it's no fun.
We also bill daily, so, meaning that we have, I want to say 30 different accounts that or routes that we bill for. So that also makes things complicated.
And it's more expensive too. You're paying.
It's just how our system was built. At some point, I would like to change that, but it's a bit of a difficult transition. So we will do whatever the council preference is.
About you two? What's your thoughts?
Well, maybe if we can send a letter to those that say, 200 under, and say, hey, we're going to start this process. This is your last chance to get caught up. And if they don't come in and work on it, then it happens.
But you're talking
Instead of just saying the resolution, I mean, just,
more work on staff at that point, I think. I don't know, that was just my opinion. What do you think, Jay?
I like it. If you don't pay, then you're gonna get a lien on your property, and that's how it should be. I like it. There shouldn't be money owed. It's 118 people now. Later on, it could be more. Maybe this will make them pay.
Well, this isn't doing anything different.
So the reality is that the lien's placed on their parcel and they sell, it'll come out of the sale of their properties. So
Someone has to pay for it at the end of the
whatever,
day.
I'm fully aware of
whether
the
they pay
lien,
now
so
or
I'm not
later, a
for it.
lien actually allows them to pay later, so. But it's up to the council.
I'm for it.
I'm for it too.
Do we need to make a motion?
Well, I'm for it with an amendment, but
I'm for the lien process, but I do agree with Dave. And I'll be honest, there's plenty of times that my wife hasn't paid the bill last month. Ah, shit, I gotta go pay my bill. If anybody in here's ever refinanced a house or went to buy a car, those liens pop up on your credit. If somebody forgets to make a payment and they owe $70 and bam, here's a lien on your, liens don't come off the day that you ask them to come off either. Sometimes they take up to 30 days to be removed from your credit report.
I don't.
So I've personally dealt with liens in the way past, and I know I had to wait months to get one taken off. So, I don't know, it almost sounds like it's gonna be a 2-3 vote, but I'm in favor with Dave that we set a limit. It don't have to be a high limit, but just a little buffer limit that if you forget to make your payment 1 month, you're not doing it maliciously. Hey, I get in there next month and pay it. I'm in favor of that. If you get over a certain threshold and you just don't want to pay your bill, I'm in favor of leaning your property 100%. But I really think that we need to take people's daily lives into consideration too. Some people take it personal if you put a lien on the property.
And I make a suggestion that if that's the inclination, we do it on a one-time basis and see the repercussions of it. Because I will say that my finance department has a significant, difficult time in getting people to pay their water and sewer bills on time. It's been an issue prior to the pandemic. It is magnified since then, and they are very concerned about it.
So.
But the reality of it is putting a lien on their property is also not gonna come make them pay their water and sewer. Unless they sell their property, that lien doesn't mean anything.
No, I guess they're just concerned about the long-term loss of revenue by not placing it.
And if we put a threshold on it, then that takes that long-term billed person, you don't want to pay your bill, you're 3 or 4 months out, you've hit that threshold, now there's a lien gonna go on your property when we file them again, and then that, it still happens. If you don't sell your house that year, we're not gonna get that money anyways.
Yeah, their concern is going to be that that will become a learned behavior.
And what about a rental? If you're renting a house and you're not paying your sewer and water, and we
This
put a lien
doesn't
on there?
address that issue. This is just for owner-occupied parcels. The tenant-occupied, we don't have a good option right now other than sending it to a credit reporting agency. And the drawback to that is that if the grants come to fruition, then we will only get paid back what the net of what the credit reporting agency would pay us. So we're trying to kind of vet that out internally. We're hoping that the grants come out quickly, and we can resolve some of that bad debt. So some of this issue, there's one grant in particular that's a state grant that just wipes the bad debt the applicant doesn't have to apply for. That could resolve this issue that we're talking about today for the water portion, not the sewer portion. We expect that there will also be a sewer grant in the next few months that would then, if not wipe all of it, it would do significant. So we're really worried about, for the time being, until those grants come out. So if the council is willing to do it on a one-time basis for the $200, I would be supportive of that. Making a policy of that right now without understanding the ramifications kind of scares me.
What's the criteria for the lien? Any past due amount?
I believe it's 90 plus days.
Not, so if they haven't paid their bill in 90 days, you don't forget to pay your bill 3 months in a
How can,
row.
well, they must have.
Exactly, 90 days
So
to
where,
allow.
so if you got $68 owed,
Cheapest water on here is $63. That can't be 90 days worth of water.
Well, if they move, or they quit.
I know they didn't move.
Okay, well,
I
I don't
mean,
know.
I know the people. You know,
So if they're paying on that $68 bill, we still gonna, I mean,
If it's more than 90 plus days, that's my understanding. It's on the list.
so 90 days ago, you had a $280 bill. For whatever reason, you paid $212, and then you've paid every bill current since, and you still have that, from that bill, that never comes current until you get it paid off. That's why you end up with the $68.
can't you do that with 90 days plus, with no activity on their account? I mean,
That's
no,
not-
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
We can't do that
It
anymore.
should be, well, prior to the pandemic, at 90 days is when you get your door hanger.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be able to be done. I mean, they can look back and see how many months it's been.
If they haven't done anything in 90 days, I'd say, yeah, I'm sure. But if they're making an effort,
But I have to double check with Mary on that, whether it would show a proportionate payment.
It,
In
it
the-
usually does on aging.
the payment history will show,
Okay.
you know, if you have an outstanding balance of $1,000, but you're continually getting billed and you're only paying a portion, it's going to show that in June you came in and paid $25, in July you came in and paid $32. It's going to show that. And it's also going to show that the balance continually was going up.
Do you know if Mary can run a report on that for all accounts without doing it individually on each account though? That's my concern.
In a couple of years,
I
I
know,
would say
I'm just a
yes.
little leery because our finance system is so,
It's so old. I would say yes, because I used to run queries on 90-day plus. I just don't know if it's going to show payments that are.
I know, that's what I know it can show 90-day plus, but I don't know if it'll show that a proportionate payment will be made. It'll show how much is still owed of that 90-day plus.
Yeah, Yeah.
So which is easier to show? 90 days or a dollar amount owed?
I think a flat amount would be,
So if we just set a flat amount, if somebody's paying on their bill, if they can't get below that amount, we put a lien on their property. That's, I don't, at that point, I don't care. They can't pay their bill down, fine. But if somebody forgets to make a payment or two and they owe $120 and they come in and pay it off, I'm guilty of it myself. I'm not trying to rip the city off, but if I got a lien on my property, I'd be like, really? I feel the same way for our citizens that Dave does. That's my opinion. That's his opinion. That doesn't have to be your guys' opinion. But I think a flat amount would be fair to our community. But once again, that's just how I feel.
I guess if someone wants to throw in a motion,
Well, I'll make a motion that Mayor and Council adopt resolution 12-14-2021-03 and authorize the clerk to record liens on properties, to amend this, properties owing $200 or more on their water bill. Is that how I would want to word it?
if that's what you're proposing, so essentially, all, what I understand in your motion, any of the properties that are under $200 on this list would not be liened,
Right.
anything above 2 would be.
Yes.
I will second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So passed unanimous.
okay, and then can I just get clarification?
Yes.
Is that just for this lien or process that's before you today, or do you want that to be the policy going forward for all liens?
I'd like to see a policy going forward.
Okay. That, I will do it, but that makes me nervous in terms of what, we're gonna have more issues with people.
Well, if it turns out,
Could always come back.
we can come back.
Right?
Got to have that leap of faith.
It's just more.
Mankind is good.
It gives me anxiety, but,
It ain't medicine for that.
well, I have limited staff, so you have to.
No, I know.
All righty. We will move on to item number J17. Approve agreement with Paskin Band of Nomalaki Indians for the city to provide independent contractor services to the tribe for the implementation of the Corning Recreation Program.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. This should be pretty quick. This is the last 6 months of the grant, and I know I've said that a lot of times. So we're getting a 6-month extension because the tribe received a 6-month extension, so
Just keep getting them.
well, they're gonna run out of money, so they don't get more money allocated. It's just when there's underspent funds from previous years is what we're spending now. So at some point, it's going to end.
Yeah.
This is a 6-month agreement that brings us through June 30th in the amount of $60,000
Awesome.
for the 6-month term. It should come pretty close to funding 100% of our recreation program costs for that 6-month period. After that point, we will assume 100% of those costs as a city, as a general fund expense. I will say that one of the reasons we have not been billing the grant for as much as we anticipated in the past was because of the great program participation that we're getting. And that's due to Christina Mead's efforts. So she's doing a stellar job with the recreation program. Thank you.
Thank you, Chrissy. I've heard nothing but good things about our recreation program, and I think it's been a great success. And I'm really looking forward to that program continuing and hopefully being housed in its own facility in a couple of years. So, do we have any more questions, comments, concerns about this? If not, do I have a motion?
Make a motion that mayor and council approve agreement for city to provide independent contractor services to Pascana Band of Nomalaki Indians as it relates to the awarded United States Department of Education grant, PRA Award Number U21-5B160003-16B in the amount of $60,000 and authorize the city manager to sign all associated documents.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pass unanimous.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Yes.
I wanted to add to that, I believe that they didn't give out this extra money for the first 6 months of 2022 to everybody, just to a few people, and we were chosen for that.
That's great. We appreciate everything they've been able to do for us through that grant program too, so.
And to piggyback on that, we wouldn't have likely been as successful in our grant application if we didn't already have a recreation program that was suffering in terms of facilities. And so to have this opportunity for the grant to build the program really supported our argument for the grant itself. And $8.5 million for a city of our size to receive is incredible.
No, it's phenomenal. I'm very excited for it. And once again, we got to thank everybody involved with our recreation program. You know, I know Chrissy puts a lot of time into it. Christina, you've helped. I'm sure Robin's helped some.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, all of our staff in City Hall has worked really hard over the years on this program, and all of our instructors that are involved with it. And I agree wholeheartedly that that's a big part of why we got this grant. So we have a successful program, and the state's going to help us house it. So
Don't forget Public Works, I know
that's
a lot too.
all of our staff, everybody's been involved in this.
It helped me a
Yep.
lot.
All right. Well, no items placed on the floor. We got any communications, correspondence? Christina or Chrissy? Nothing?
I mean, unless you want me to announce that we got $8.5 million again.
What's that for?
We're pretty excited about that, so.
It's like I need past the excitement, because like the shock phase.
Yeah,
That
so.
was really fun. They picked where they picked. We were really glad about that.
Very exciting, so.
Yes.
It'll take some time to be built, so please be patient.
And I heard that they got extra funding to remedy the underground.
That's
No.
part of the $8.5
Oh, it is
million
part of the
bond.
8.5,
So we
okay.
budgeted for the remediation of those underground sort of things.
Yeah, when we did the initial project design, Christina had taken some of that funds that were available and earmarked it for that, just in case. We're hoping that we don't have to spend it all. So Jeremiah's excited. He can run over and cool off in the summer.
Ride my horse over there.
Attaboy.
Do some apples for the kids.
All right, move on to reports from Mayor and Council Member Shelley.
Nothing to report at this time, except for the Christmas parade was spectacular.
Yes, it was.
It was amazing. Lots of fun.
David?
Oh, I didn't get to see the Christmas parade because I was cooking like you. The fire hall and our spaghetti feed was very successful, so thank you for everybody that came. And all my meetings, for some reason, it's December. They don't want to meet in December. They've been canceled.
Karen?
We're all good.
Julie?
I have a meeting coming up, so I'll give you details regarding the installation dinner next time.
Okay. Same thing as Dave, you know, I thought we might be a little busier with the weather being nice, but we still had a really good turnout. Community always supports the fire department, and the fire department in turn always gives back to our community. Looking forward to this weekend. We'll be doing our annual Christmas basket drive. So if you see some U-Hauls driving around and a bunch of Yahoos, it's just us trying to give somebody a Merry Christmas. So, and we do appreciate all the help that the community has given us throughout this year to make this successful. You know, it's been how many years, Dave? 48?
Oh, way longer than
No.
that. It's been over 50 years.
Has it? And it just continues, and we are able to fund it every year with a lot of help and
I've been in
support.
the department 45 years, and I've done a lot longer than I was there, so.
With that, meeting adjourned.